Hey guys, what's up? This video is going to be on replacing the front steering knuckles on your MAXX. This is a new truck. This was intended to be a gift for someone for Christmas, and it did not turn out so well. The plans changed. So for now, while I've got it, I'm going to be using it to show you guys how to do some repairs on your truck. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's go ahead and take this guy's top off, and we're going to do the front end first. And if you've seen the videos prior to this one on the axles and A-arms, it's very similar. I'm going to show specifically the knuckle, that way you don't have to search through other videos to find what you're looking for. So we are going to work on the front right hand corner of this truck. I'm going to do the steering knuckle. I'm not going to do the left side because it's the exact same thing. You just literally turn the truck around, same exact procedure. So there's no need for me to go on and waste you guys' time doing that. I will show you how to take it off and put it back on in a very step-by-step fashion, and I hope this video helps you. If it has helped you, please like, comment, and subscribe on my videos, and I'll do my best to get plenty more videos coming your way. So let's go ahead and let's just get into this. So get your tools ready. We're going to need 8mm to pull the wheel off. We will need a 2.5, a flathead screwdriver. I like to have a pair of vice grips handy, and a hand driver, you know, and possibly a magnet if you've got one. If not, you can definitely make do without it. So let's go ahead and take this wheel off. So we're going to chuck up our 8. And we're going to go ahead and take this off. I'm going to put the little lug nut and washer and everything, leave it in the wheel, and just stick it over here out of the way. And actually, let's go ahead and just use that tire for a little jack stand there like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this done. We're going to do this first rather than doing it off the truck. Go ahead and grab your flathead, and we're going to pop this wheel hex off of here real quick. So we can reach right in behind here like this, give it a twist, it'll pop right off, as will that pin right there. So take that pin out and that little wheel hex off, and set it in your parts dish, or set it in whatever you're using to organize your parts. Now go ahead and grab your 2mm, chuck that up in your tool, and let's go ahead and remove this outer tie rod screw. Okay, you can leave it in for now. Now let's get a 2.5 on there and remove the front, the upper and outer A-arm pin. Okay, now I'm going to switch over to my Hypertough because I can get between my wheel and A-arm here. So now we got a screw back here on the lower side of the A-arm. We need to pull this one out right here. So let's go ahead and take that on out of there. Okay, we'll leave that in there for now, and that should pretty much get the job done. So now go ahead and pull that bottom pin out. That one is going to be a medium-sized pin. The top one comes right out. It's a little bit shorter. See there? This is the top one. This is the lower one. Now go ahead and take this small screw out of your tie rod. Take that out. Set it aside. We can go ahead and drop those in our bolt bin. Okay. Now you can, I'll move this tire here. We can drop that lower arm right out of that knuckle, lift it right out of there, and the tie rod will pull right off, and it comes right off. Very simple. Okay, now I'm going to show you guys something. If you're ever bashing on this truck, and all of a sudden it's coming back to you, one of your front wheels looks like this, then what happened is this bottom pin right here, it ends up pulling out, and it jumps outside of this knuckle. And you don't have to go home right away. What you can do is take the wheel off, back that pin out, push this knuckle back into place, put the pin back in, and for the most part it'll probably stay in the rest of the day unless you hit that exact same obstacle again the way you did the first time. Then when you get home, if it's you know, you can take it out, inspect it. If it really destroyed that knuckle, then go ahead and change it. Honestly, I'm the kind of person that I'll put it back in, run it, and if it pops out again, I'll put it in again. If it keeps coming out, then I'll go ahead and change to a brand new part, because I hate to pop it out and then put a brand new part in, and then my luck, I go and clip a tree or something and I completely break it. You know, I don't like I try to change everything when it absolutely has to be changed out, you know. Hope that makes sense to you guys. Okay, so now that we've got that, we're going to go ahead and unbolt these 2 screws right here. Now we know this is the top, this is where your outer tie rod goes. So go ahead and just take this top pin out to 2.5. We'll flip it around, we'll get that bottom one out. And this is the one that causes some problems sometimes when you hit something. So we'll pull that one out, lay it right there, see what it looks like. And then we'll pull the top one out, and they're both identical pins. See there? Now that will separate just like that. So if you've broken this, I believe it's called a C-knuckle, now you can replace that. And if you've broken this part, this actual steering knuckle, then all you do is pull your drive shaft out of there. A lot of times the bearing will come with it, you see there. And then this front bearing, you can take one of your other tools, either push it out from behind or grab that inner race and pop it right out of place. So there is everything all disassembled. And you got the bearing that stays stuck on your outer. And if you watched the previous video, you know how to do this. To get this bearing off, you just reach back here and you pry. And you turn and you pry and you keep going around until the bearing pops off. Like I'll do a little bit of it here, but I don't really need to take it off. So now you see how that bearing's coming off already, and that's all there is to it. So when you put it back on, you'll put it on, give it a good push, you hear it snap, and now it's all the way back down. So then we put it together, the exact reverse procedure. Like I said, if you've broken this part, grab your new one. If you've broken this part, grab your new one. So now you have everything laying on the table like that. And the way this goes back together is you go ahead and take your C-knuckle, take your steering knuckle, pop your bearing in it, make sure it's flush. Okay, then you're going to take your C-knuckle and your steering knuckle, and to figure this out, you see how this C-knuckle right here, this is wider than the top, because it goes back in this arm just like that there, and back up in the upper arm just like that. So that tells you how it goes. And then this, you can use common sense and know this is the top, because this is where your outer tie rod hooks up. So then you take this C-knuckle and you just literally put it back on just like that. See there? So you're going to take those 2 pins, put it back in there. You're going to flip your knuckle over, take your other pin, whoops, the pins fit tight. Ready to get it started, there it is. And that one in there, and that one in there. And then that is what the properly assembled part will look like. Just remember that you have your tie rod hook up on top, and the wider spot has to go on the bottom. So that's correct, because it goes back on the truck just like that. So now take your 2.5 and run these back in. Okay. Okay, now we've got those in, nice and snug. And then we can go ahead and put our axle back in. Now if this bearing stayed inside there, then good. But be sure that you do have this bearing installed in there. You got to have a bearing in the back, and you got to have your bearing in the front. So when you put this back in, you want to listen for a little pop as that bearing goes into place. So I'm pushing it in, and here we go. Yeah, it slid right in. It's all the way in there. When you know it's in, when you have plenty of room to get your cross pin in. You see where that cross pin goes there? If you have that, that's not going to work. Your cross pin won't go in. It has to be all the way out like that. So once you got that in, you're going to line up the index marks on your axles. You see the index mark at the top, one at the bottom. Line those up 12 o'clock. You are also going to have some index marks on your axle right here, on your inner. If you look at the end of this, you're going to have some index marks. So you just want to line those up it'll slide right in. If it doesn't slide right on, you don't have your index marks lined up. If you've got some time on it and it's used, you can get it clocked wrong and it will slide in, but it'll jam. You want it to slide in nice and smooth, no bind whatsoever. So then you got this in, turn it this way because you want your tie rod hookup to be on top. So then you've got two pins. You're going to have one longer than the other. The longer one is going to go in your bottom arm from the back through your knuckle. So you pull that pin, you slide your knuckle into place like that, and you push that pin in. You don't have to tighten it up just yet, just go ahead and get everything positioned. Now we're going to go ahead and put our upper one in. So our upper one's here. We'll bring that right into place, just like that there. Goes in from the front to the back. There you go. Now we'll hook up our tie rod. Tie rod goes in here. These hollow balls can be a little tricky to get in sometimes. This is a screw. So the 3mm screw with a 2mm head. There we go. Drop that right in place. And the reason I don't tighten everything up as I go is just so I can do it all at one time. So grab your two. Let's go ahead and tighten this up. Okay. Grab your 2.5. Tighten that one up. Snug it. Tighten up your lower. Just like that. Next, be sure this is pulled out. It'll have a little play to it. You see there? You want it pulled out so you can get your cross pin in there. Okay. This part can be kind of tough sometimes. So pick your truck up a little, rotate it to where that cross pin hole is horizontal. That way it doesn't fall out on you. You can put it in just like that. Then you have to line, obviously, that notch up with it. Be sure your pin isn't sticking out too far because then you'll never get it pushed in. These can be kind of a bear to put on if they're brand new. So you put it in, be sure your pin is centered. Yeah, see how that axle's moving? So you can reach back behind it and try to hold it and push that in. If you can't get it to pop in, what you can do, if you can't get it to pop in, what you can do is go ahead and take your wheel and put it on, and it'll pull into place. But you need to be sure that that cross pin is centered in that wheel hex. So I'm going to take a little bit of Loctite and put it on there. Because if you've seen my other videos, you know why I do that. The wheel is plastic, the hex is plastic, the wheel gets loose, it can strip, destroy the wheel, and destroy that. They do make these in aluminum, so that's always an option. Now when you do this, hold this axle so it doesn't push in. Reach back here, hold it tight. See, I have my finger on it. Hold it tight. Line the wheel hex up and get your nut started. And then go ahead and chuck your 8 up, your 8mm, and run that in. Did you hear that pop? That pop was that pin going into place. I'll show you. So I'm going to take that back off. Now, you see how it's all the way in now. That pin is in place. So that's one way that you can do it, and that's the easiest way. Now, I'm not going to put any Loctite on there because there's already some on there. If you take it off more than one wheel, see that rotation arrow? That needs to point the front of the truck. Okay, put our wheel back on. Good and tight. Move my tools. That's it. You're done. Now you know how to change your front steering knuckle. The left front is the identical exact procedure. It's good to go. No rattles, no squeaks. She's ready to have some fun. So that video helped you guys. Like the video, comment down below what you want to see next, what you liked about it. Subscribe to my channel. It really helps me a lot. It helps the channel do better. The more subscriptions I get, the better, the easier it'll be for you guys to find it and other people to find it. And share it, guys. If you think this, this is a good, helpful video, share it. Share it up with your friends and stuff like that. I would sure appreciate it. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how to do the rear one. That'll be a separate video. You want to find that video, you can go to the MAXX playlist. It'll be right after this one, or there should be a link in this description to take you right to that rear knuckle. Anyway, guys, thanks for coming. You guys have a great one. Let's get this rear one done.